Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
So, as you all know, we're home and we're starting to feel a little antsy.
A
lot antsy, actually. So Jimmy's parents actually have a travel trailer that we're going to steal and see if we survive. But this isn't their travel trailer.
Definitely not. It's our friend Amber Baldwin from storychasing.com, and she's going to show us around, give us some, I guess, good, bad, and funny anecdotes about first-time RVing and tips that we could probably use
to survive this whole
yeah.
thing. So stay tuned because we're going to ask lots of really fun questions about how she lives in this beautiful van full time. Wanted to ask Amber some questions about surviving this whole RV thing, because honestly I'm afraid Jimmy and I are gonna die in the forest. Like, let's just be super real. So we have some questions for her, and I want to ask her some rapid fire questions to really find out what this lifestyle is like. So first we'll start with,
should I be scared?
You know, maybe. Can you give me 3 like great good things about living this lifestyle?
Freedom. You have a ton of freedom in this life. You can go anywhere, especially in this van, because it's so nimble. You can go anywhere you want. So that would be probably my #1 thing. My backyard changes every day, if I want it to.
Wow.
Sometimes it might be 2 weeks, sometimes it might be a month.
Wow.
But yeah, it can change all the time.
She can open her back doors and that's literally her backyard. How cool is that?
Yeah. So if you want your setting to change, if you don't like the weather that day, you can just drive anywhere and go find some better weather. But yeah, just being able to like do what I want and when I want and enjoy like the beauty of this country. North America is amazingly beautiful. It has so much to offer. A ton of different topographies around here. So it's very diverse.
There's a lot to see. That's one thing that we are going to do. People ask us a lot. They're like, are you ever going to stay in the States? And we will. And what's really funny is I want to see the States this way.
Yeah.
You know, so what made you want to RV?
Really, like my grandfather kind of instilled it in me when I was younger. I guess just say my grandfather and my grandmother. They were RVing, and I saw the freedom that they had and all the places that they were going to visit, and it just looked like such an amazing life. And he actually passed away when he was 63 years old. Very young. He had only been retired for maybe 5 years at that point.
Wow.
And so I was kind of in this job where I was just working so much, and I felt like I was kind of headed down the same road he was, where I could potentially die early because I was stressed out and I wasn't really living my life like I wanted. And so I decided to get out there. I sold everything that I had, my house, everything I owned, and then decided to buy the RV and just start living again.
Love it.
I say again, I don't know if I ever really lived like this.
For the first time.
Yeah. It's many moments of tears when I like travel somewhere. Oh my god, I'm gonna start tearing up now.
Okay. It's emotional, right?
It is.
Doing something like this is emotional. When you get to live the life that you've always dreamed of living, it's a really big deal.
It is. It's well, you know, it's one of those things where like you see so much beauty around you, and like I said before, having the freedom to do this, I feel truly like blessed is probably the best word. Fortunate to do what I'm doing. But it's funny because like a lot of people think like I had some kind of good luck in order to do this.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of hustle and hard work.
It is. It's a lot of hard work, and I like really actively created this life. It's not something that just happened to me.
You're not independently wealthy.
No, I'm not independently wealthy. I get that question a lot, actually.
Do you? We do too. It's funny. They're like, you must have millions of dollars. Like, wouldn't that be nice? I'm just going to ask you this from like an Amanda doesn't know perspective. Also, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to make Jimmy do this because I don't want to screw it up. So the black tanks, the gray tanks, the water tanks, not mixing them up because I know some's poop, some's like sink, some's like water you can drink. So what's the difference for those of us that don't know that?
So a black tank is where your pee and your poo goes.
Okay.
And we say that word a lot in RVing, by the way, or number 1 or number 2. So your black tank is that's your basically where if you were in a house and you were using the bathroom and your toilet, it goes into the sewer. This is essentially your sewer.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And then the gray tank is anything that comes out of your shower, like the water that goes down the drain through your shower, through your sinks, things like that. So gray water. And then your water intake valve is simply just your fresh water that you get from out of a hose somewhere that you fill your RV tank up with, so that you can have fresh water that comes out of your shower and your sinks.
So now is there set like hoses that you use to like wash that through? So it's obvious that you're not going to put your poop thing with the wrong thing.
Right. In a traditional RV, you have a hose that fits onto one nozzle. That actually will allow you to release your black tank and your gray tank valves down one hose. So when you're doing that for the first time, you want to release your black tank first, because that puts all of the matter into the hose and it's all nasty. Yeah. And then if you run your gray water through it afterwards, it cleans your hose out for you.
Oh, smart.
So you'll do that one second. Now in the van, I have a cassette toilet, which is considered my black tank. And that's just literally a box where everything goes into that box, and you take the box out of the side of the van and you empty it rather than using a hose.
Oh, cool.
So I can take it in anywhere. I can go into like a rest stop. I can go into just a normal like toilet in a house and dump it out in there.
Oh, cool.
And then I have a gray water hose that's already fitted. It does, you don't ever have to take it on and off. It's just fitted.
Do you shower here? Because looking through, we did our quick kind of van tour for everybody to see, and honestly, it's small. So do you shower here, or like how do you do that?
I don't shower. Shower.
You shower.
I shower.
Just not here.
Right. So what I do is I shower at a gym or a state park or any place that has like a public shower. I've showered at like rec centers before. If there's not the gym that I use, which is Anytime Fitness. Mm-hmm. So I can shower there. Most of the time what I do is I wash my hair in the sink, in the kitchen sink, and then I just wash off with like a washcloth everywhere else. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So rapid fire, I'm going to ask you again.
Oh, good.
Because this is going to be really fun. What are 3 bad things? I'm giving you open range to complain. Okay. If there's bad things, like what are 3 bad things about living in a van full time?
That's actually hard.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so when it's cold at night, you're like really one with the weather. Mm-hmm. So if it's really cold at night, then it's also going to get cold in your vehicle. So I do have a furnace, but like when it just got down into the 20s just recently here in Texas.
I bet it was super cold.
It was cold, and it's such a wet cold here that my heater could not keep up. I had it on 77 degrees, and it was not 77 in here. Yeah. I have a hot water bottle, and I'll fill that up like on its really cold nights, and I usually will put it like by my feet or something, and it felt like it was cold even with boiling water inside of it. It was bad. So that's probably the only bad thing if it gets really cold, but that's pretty rare. Like I don't usually stay in places where it's 20 degrees.
Yeah, so it's not typical.
Yeah. So.
Now how does little Miss Thang do?
This
is Lily.
This is Lily.
I know.
She's like a travel companion.
I just want to snuggle her. She loves it. She reminds me so much of my Penelope, because I would actually hold Penelope just like this when we rode in a car, and she loved it to be able to look out the windows. So does she do well?
She does very well.
Really?
Yep. She sits up in the front seat where you're sitting. You're in her chair right now.
Sorry, Lily.
She sits up in the chair. She'll look out, and she like hangs out. She's not like a barker unless someone comes up to the door or something.
Yeah,
like
Jimmy
that.
did, and she flipped out.
Yeah. If you come up to the window, she'll really flip out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
which is good.
Yeah, she's a really good guard dog in that way. But other than that, she's really good, and she loves to go outside. She goes on walks. She goes on hikes. She just goes everywhere with me.
That's amazing.
Yeah. She's a good girl. She sleeps under the covers with me.
Does she? Oh. For our ladies out there who love their clothes and love their shoes, where do you put your stuff? Where's your closet?
So I have cabinets that are above my bed. 4 cabinets with all my clothes, except for this tiny little closet over here. Mm-hmm. And that carries like a couple jackets and some of my clothes I don't get to all the time. Mm-hmm. As far as shoes, like I've really downsized my shoes.
I feel you on that.
I think I wear flip-flops most days.
Same.
Flip-flops and tennis shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I brought like a ton of sandals with me thinking I'd wear all these sandals all the time, and I don't. I wear my chacos most of the time.
Yeah. Flip-flops, easy on, easy off.
Yep.
I feel you there. I know this is probably something that people ask you all the time. And I know the ladies out there are like, she's by herself. Because no, you travel alone.
I do.
You do. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So as a woman traveling by yourself, do you ever feel unsafe, or do you feel more like, I'm empowered, I got this?
In the beginning, I didn't feel that way, like empowered. Really? Yeah, I was scared. I had some fears wrapped around, like being by myself, especially boondocking by myself, like out in the middle of nowhere where it's just dark outside and there's nothing around.
Now, what is that for those of us who really don't know? Like, I know because we've been chatting a bit, but what is boondocking? It's not the song, right? Isn't there a song that has
Down in the boondocks.
right? Like, what is that really?
Boondocking is when you are like going to a piece of land and you're going to camp out on a piece of land, and you're not hooked up to anything. So you're not hooked up to water, sewer, black tank, gray tank, all of those things, or electricity. And you're completely self-sufficient living on the land.
Oh, that's cool.
What boondocking is.
Okay. Because you also have solar panels up here, right, that help you with your energy and all of that. And you can fill up your water and just make sure you're set when you want to do that.
Exactly.
Cool. So you don't always have to stay in an RV park.
I rarely stay in RV parks. I've actually stayed in 3 RV parks since I started in this van, and maybe 2 RV parks prior to that. In 2 years, I've only stayed at 5 RV parks. That's it. The rest of the time,
That's cool.
I've boondocked or dry camped or urban camped.
So how did you come to feel like an empowered, badass woman traveling by yourself? Like, I think it's that, because I couldn't do it. Like, I tell people a lot that I would have such a hard time traveling by myself because I'm kind of the natural, you may not know this, but I'm kind of a natural scaredy cat. I freak out, I get nervous. If I didn't have Jimmy, so, how did you come to feel that way?
I think we all have those same fears though when we first start, and repetition. That's really it. Repetition and just moving through the fear. Like, I have this quote that I say a lot, and it's just a quote, like there's a lot of people say it, but it's on the other side of fear is your greatest success or your greatest reward. And really, if you think about that, it's the thing that you're going to really like be happy about or love to see what happens in your life when you decide to just push through that fear. And so staying by myself or traveling by myself was one of those things that I had to really push through that fear about. And then I get to live this amazing life now because of that. And honestly, like, I'm not always alone. I'm alone, I'd say 65% of the time, but the rest of the time, like, I'm hanging out with friends that I've made through this, or I've got like a friend almost in every single state now that wants me to come visit them.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It's funny how people think that a life like this encourages solitude when in reality the quote-unquote normal way of living is actually more lonely.
It is.
So we talked about the good. We talked about, the one bad thing, jealous, but the one bad thing about traveling this way. So what are some funny things? Like, if you were, like, how as a traveler you kind of have to sing for your dinner when you go, like, eat with somebody else. They want to know the crazy, funny stuff that happens to you. Yeah. What would you tell our viewers? What are some funny things about living this lifestyle?
I get people that come up to me all the time about my van. Like,
Really?
people just knock on my door, or all of a sudden I'll be sitting here and someone's, like, taking pictures out the window, like, at me. Like,
oh my gosh,
all
how
the
weird.
time.
Creepy.
Yeah. Well, because they like my van.
Because they're curious.
One day I was sitting in a Walmart parking lot. It was night. I was going to sleep, and all of a sudden I see this guy with his flashlight. He's looking around my van, and he keeps looking in the window. I'm like,
so he thinks you're inside.
He doesn't know I'm inside. I don't know why he
thinks you're in the store.
Yeah, in the store. Thank you. And so I finally opened the door. I was like, "Can I help you?" And he's like, "Oh my god!" He goes, "I didn't know anybody was in there." And he's like, "I just love your van," and I was looking at it, and yeah. So I get that a lot. Literally. So when I was in Dana Point, California, I was kind of towards the end of summer, and I was just hanging out there for about a month and a half actually. And so every day I would just go to the beach and hang out at the beach, and I would open the sliding door so that I could get the fresh air and the breeze and stuff coming in. And I must have given, one day, I swear to you, probably 20 van tours. There was 10 people at one time out my door.
You're like a beach attraction and you don't even
crazy.
know it.
I know. So I had to leave Dana Point actually because I was like, I couldn't get any work done. And I loved it. Like, I loved talking to people about it because they think it's a fascinating life. And I live it now. So I still think it's cool, but you know, they were even more attracted to it because they weren't doing it, or they were already looking for a van and they wanted to know more about it. So I got that a lot.
So if you could think of, like, when Jimmy and I go do this, like, we've honestly, like, his parents have a travel trailer, but we've not. I've traveled with my grandparents a little bit, but, like, he and I have not really ventured out on our own like this. Like, we're travel savvy, but, like, this is a lot of technical stuff, like, just to survive. And we'll go to, like, an RV park. We're going to cheat. But is there anything that you can think of, be like, don't screw this thing up? Like, one thing that we cannot forget.
Yeah.
What?
So one big one is make sure when you put your sewer tank hose on, your black
Pay
water tank
attention, because
hose,
I don't do the poop.
make sure that it's fitted on the top and the bottom. So when I first started, I fit the top of it on and it fit around the hooks like perfectly, but the bottom somehow didn't get clamped on. And I released the black thing.
No! It didn't go everywhere. Oh my god! That's a funny thing that happened.
It was like, it was awful. Like, okay, so
Like a poop shower.
well,
Like, it just everywhere.
it just splashed and like, okay, I've never seen so many flies in seconds. Like it was disgusting.
Oh my god.
I don't think I could eat for 2 days after that.
I can't say I blame you.
Yeah, the smell was horrendous, and yeah. So I always, make sure that you have your hose on well.
That's good advice.
That's really good
Stick
advice.
your
Rubber
finger down
gloves.
the back of it and just make
Rubber
sure.
gloves
there's
first, and then I'll check the hose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I tell you right now, if that happens, I'm just gonna wait. 'Cause I'm like, handle it, baby.
I'll be inside.
I'll be inside. I'm gonna get really mushy for a second because I'm not gonna make you cry intentionally. Oprah moments, but
She's so Oprah now.
I feel like Oprah and Ellen.
Where's my new car?
Right? Am I getting a check?
No, but in all honesty, like, as a fellow woman traveler, I get really excited when I meet other women traveling because I feel like it's such an important thing because people worry about our safety and they worry about all these things that really stop that. We can all kind of handle it, right? Like, we make these decisions as adults to do these things because we're considered old to be travelers. Like, we really kind of are. But what I wanted to know was, like, how has past being free and past being able to do whatever you want to do, like, how has your life changed? Like, do you have this incredible sense of, like, peace? I know you have freedom, but is this, like, just, you can't imagine why you waited so long?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I can't imagine why I waited so long. I mean, I had really been seriously thinking hard for 5 years before I actually did it. And I wish I had done it before, but I try not to live my life with, regrets. So just like, you know what? There's a reason why things happen, and that was a time period for me to learn.
You learned a lot during those 5 years.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
No, but I think it's amazing because I saw, you guys should definitely go follow her on Instagram because I sort of 100% stalked her. There's a photo that I've seen where you have your back doors open and it's the ocean. And I immediately had such jealousy because I thought, well, how amazing and freeing must that be just to be able to open your back doors and there's like everybody's dream spot to like sleep, live, do anything. Like, how incredible.
It's peaceful. Like, I mean, I know we talked a lot about freedom, so there is that, but the peace that comes with doing this, I think partly the living with what you only really need.
Yeah. You don't need a lot of stuff.
No, you don't need a lot of stuff, and in the van, like, you can't carry a lot of things, like you would in even my other van or my other RV or my house, and so you just don't buy like you used to, and that is somehow freeing as well, and makes me feel good to not just have a bunch of stuff. So it actually makes you go out there and like explore and meet people and have like really good quality relationships. Just like enjoy life, I think, a little bit more. And you're not spending so much, so you're not having to like pay off your credit card bill every month.
Yeah.
That's all.
Makes it a lot easier.
It does. It does. And the other thing that people always ask me too is, when am I going to settle down?
They figure single woman, she's just sowing her oats all over wherever.
Oh yeah, I've been told that I need to go back into a house and find a man.
Stop it right now.
Yes, I'm serious. So
Did you tell them where they could go?
Not exactly, but
Not in so many words.
I
Yeah.
just don't respond to people like that. They
People
just
aren't
don't
sure how
know.
to take a woman wanting to do something like that.
No. And some people are really great. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing this. It's amazing. Which is also kind of interesting to me that, like, they don't say that to men. Like, oh my God, manpower. You know what I mean?
And we get so much crap when we want to do,
I
like, women
know.
power. It's like, thank you, we earned it. Leave me alone.
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
But you know what I think part of it is that for centuries, the hero in every story has always been a man and not a woman. And we're just now as women
Seeing
becoming the hero. Yeah. And so I think that that's part of it too. As society's not used to women doing these things on their own, but they're starting to. I mean, that started many years ago, you know, back in the 60s and 70s.
Because you're a housewife and you need to feed everybody. And,
Right. So
living an unconventional life is confusing.
So settling down for me is, I tell people when they say, when are you going to settle down? And I'm like, I already have settled down.
Yeah.
This is my settling down.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, one thing that we encourage everybody in our channel is we're size friendly. Like, we want everybody to know, you know, big, small, tall, short, you can do whatever you dream of doing. Now, do you think that this is a lifestyle, even in a small van, that can fit somebody of size?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in it. Yeah, it's smaller than the other RV that I had. So
Jimmy and I would have trouble in one this size. We need a larger one, obviously. But for someone single, doesn't really matter your size, does it?
I don't think so. But honestly, like, I think even you and Jimmy would be fine in here.
Do you think?
Yeah. I know people actually that have a smaller RV than I do that do this.
Wow, couples.
Yeah. Yep.
We lived in some smaller spaces in Asia than this. Let's be super real.
Place in Japan was pretty small.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you're willing to sacrifice, right? I mean, a bigger RV might be more comfortable space-wise, but then you give up the functionality and being nimble and being able to travel.
I love
like
the
around.
idea of, like, backing up, there's the ocean, and, like, sleeping there at night. Like, how incredible is that? So one thing I want to tell you is, like, I think you're super inspiring because I know a lot of women would have a lot of trouble with this. Myself included, I would have a lot of trouble. And so I think it's incredible that you're doing this, and I think it's incredible that you're like, this is the life I want to live, so this is the life I'm going to live. Like, I think so many people out there feel like it's unattainable, it's hard, you have to do, you know, and you work, right? You work just like the rest of us do, and so you inspire me. I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited that we met you because now I'm going to make her be my best friend.
She keeps saying Nick for some reason. I'm not sure why.
No, but I think that you're just absolutely incredible. So if you ever want to do any traveling outside of the U.S., who are you going to call?
Oh my gosh, Jimmy?
Wow!
Amanda, of course.
Now, do you think you'll ever
Bali's
do it?
first on the list, I think, right?
Yes, we got to do Bali for sure. Thank you so much. Is there anything that
welcome.
you can think of that I didn't ask you that our viewers just have to know about this lifestyle in case they're on the fence?
I would just say, like, even if you don't think you have all of the knowledge to do this, or you're concerned about being fearful of traveling alone or even traveling as a couple, just do it. I mean, you're not going to learn until you just go out there and actually do it. And you'll learn as you go along, and you're going to learn really quickly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I really want to tell everybody. People think that it's scary and it's daunting and there's so much to learn. And there is sometimes a lot to learn, especially RVing, because there's a lot of, you have to figure out where you're going to stay, like, every single night. It's not like you're in a hotel or something like that. Yeah, technical things. But you learn really, really quickly, and then once you learn all of those things, like, life is pretty darn sweet.
So, guys, make sure and check out the description bar. Her channel is called Story Chasing. She has tons of incredible information for you about this lifestyle. So, she also has a blog. She has a lot of great information there, and her Instagram. I'm obsessed. I love it. So, we'll link all of that in the description bar below. Go follow her and comment. So, thank you so much. You're amazing.
You're welcome. What are you guys still doing here? Thanks for coming, and get out!